Welcome to my B&B Today's Show channel. I hope today fantastic for everyone. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video thumbs up. Steffy's decision, Finn's grim confirmation, and Liam's confusion. It is revealed in The Brave and the Beautiful that Dr. Steffy Forrester will have to make a decision before John Finn Finnegan provides grim confirmation. Let's talk about what's coming up on B&B because Liam Spencer will also encounter some confusion later. Steffy was having fun at Liam and Kelly Spencer's dance party at the Cliff House when Finn sent her a chilling text. Steffy was clearly shaken by the news because Finn had mentioned that he had been attempting to contact Liam since his scans had revealed an inoperable brain mass. Naturally, this made Liam's promise to be there for Kelly always truly heartbreaking. Steffy is aware that if Liam's condition puts him 6 feet under soon, he might not be able to keep his word. On Monday's show, Steffy will probably still have to deal with some denial, despite the fact that she believes Finn knows what he's doing as a doctor. If it means losing Liam and having to raise Kelly without him, Steffy won't want to face the truth. Finn appears to be rushing home from the hospital so he can talk to Steffy about Liam's bleak situation. Even though Finn would like to provide encouraging updates, he will support Dr. Grace Buckingham and Bridget Jones regarding their evaluation of Liam's scans. Steffy will realize that there is nothing they can do to save Liam because Finn will confirm that his condition is terminal. Steffy will make a request that catches Finn off guard once she realizes the horror of it all. Steffy will assert that she is the best person to inform Liam about this inoperable brain mass because someone needs to do so. It is not typical for an ex-wife to disclose a significant medical diagnosis, but that is the beauty of soaps. Let's just go with it because they can do whatever they want for the story. Steffy will decide to tell Liam herself and get Finn's blessing, but it will still be difficult to understand Liam through his eyes. Steffy's off-kilter behavior may become apparent to Liam after he has spent some additional time with Kelly as a father and daughter elsewhere. Steffy is getting ready to talk about his brain mass and the tragic outcome that lies ahead, and Liam might become confused. However, no one can rule out the possibility that Liam will discover a means of surviving. Liam might experience a miracle someday, despite the advice of his medical professionals. Luna's daring move, Liam's tenacity, and Hope's discovery. The next 2 episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful have been released. From Hope, Logan is expected to make a shocking discovery. Liam Spencer denies that he is dying. Additionally, Luna Nozawa might just raise the stakes. Continue reading, and let's talk about the upcoming episodes of the CBS soap opera. Iron Will of Liam Spencer. John Finn Finnegan will provide Forrester Finnegan with additional information regarding Liam's condition during the week of April. Steffy will insist that she should tell Liam about the death. However, when Liam discovers the shocking information, he refuses to accept that this is the end. Additionally, Liam might promise Steffy and Kelly Spencer something. While fans are upset that Hope remains in the dark, the executive producer teased that she won't be in the dark for long. Hope Logan's finding that suggests that Hope will sooner rather than later learn the truth about Liam. She is becoming concerned after Hope informed Deacon Sharp that Liam has not responded to her messages. She ought to be informed as soon as possible because nobody wants her to file a missing person report. Hope might try to avoid spending time with Liam, but we should hope Steffy lets Beth Spencer spend time with her father before he dies. Or is Beth also similar to Hope and Brooke Logan? What to expect otherwise? Finn is the kind of person who will keep looking for a cure until Liam dies. Eric Forrester and Thomas Forrester were both saved by Finn. So, it stands to reason that Finn will attempt to help Steffy and Kelly by finding a cure. Steffy and Kelly's relationship with Liam is likely to continue while Finn is doing that. Lee Finnegan might trust Finn. After Luna Nozawa's release, even though Lee probably doesn't want anything to do with Bill Spencer, she might change her mind. After all, Lee might be aware that if Liam dies while they are not speaking, Bill will never forgive himself. Although I could see Lee giving him some hints, Liam doesn't want his father to know. A fashion show by Forrester Creations will also take place. Mokel Washington, Heidi Montag, and Spencer Pratt, stars of reality shows, will be there. Additionally, Christine Cricket Blair returns. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. The next 2 weeks it's likely that Liam will find out how much time he still has during the week of April 28th. Liam might be able to decide what, if anything, to tell his family. Additionally, Liam might want to spend as much time as possible with his children. Steffy and Hope should give Liam the opportunity to get to know Kelly and Beth. However, I don't know if that would be possible given their current rivalry. Luna, on the other hand, is set on making Will Spencer her own. With the assistance of Sheila Carter-Sharp, Luna could devise a strategy in the event that she overhears Liam's medical emergency. You might be surprised by Luna's next victim. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful hint that Luna Nozawa is a free woman, which is dangerous. After killing 2 men, she is out of jail now, and Will Spencer is her next target. She believes she is entitled to whatever she wants because of her bad upbringing. She is working with Grandma Sheila Carter to accomplish this, and it is absolutely terrifying. What might go wrong? Is Luna going to be the next victim? Poppy Nozawa, Luna's mother, was a drug addict who frequently invited men over. Last week, Poppy and Sheila got involved and actually got into a fight. This is not good news for Poppy, who Sheila and Luna now despise. Can you see where this might lead? Was Poppy such a bad mother? We ought to point out that Electra Forrester is an additional female foe. How likely is it that Electra and Poppy will fall prey to Sheila and Luna's gaze? Let's face it, neither Sheila nor Luna appear to be recovering. Because they both have the same blood coursing through their veins, Sheila anticipates great things from Luna. They are both just too evil. Fallen star, Electra Forrester? Be honest, given Luna's current state, do you envision or wish for her to become an angel? The way the show appears to be using her suggests that she has more storyline potential as a small devil. She appeared to have a gleam in her eye since the first time she saw Will. Luna is persistent, and she may believe she is invincible with Sheila's assistance. Sadly, it appears that these two are prone to receiving an excessive number of pardons in life. Who is Luna's target? Electra or Poppy would be the first targets if Luna struck again, but this is just speculation. And how do you feel about the possibility of Will and Luna appearing on the show? Is this too extravagant even for the daytime? Liam needs to know, Cricket and Spidey at the fashion show. In an effort to get to Steffy's in time to take their daughter Kelly to the father-daughter dance, Liam rushed out of the hospital, but he was too late. Even though the event was over, Steffy and Liam still wanted Kelly to spend special time with her dad. In order for Liam and Kelly to dance the night away to her favorite song, they turned on the disco lights and played music. Steffy took pictures and was worried when Liam fell, but she was encouraged by the way he showed up for his daughter. Until Steffy received a terrifying text message from Finn informing her that Liam had an inoperable brain mass, there was a lot of love in the room. Steffy was distraught, but it appears she will be able to conceal it from Kelly and Liam. Steffy will break down in tears as she tells Finn next week that she must inform Liam of his condition. In the meantime, Liam can be seen grinning and stating with determination, "I am not accepting his death sentence." At Forrester, the fashion show is currently underway. Heidi and Spencer Pratt, stars of reality television, and Y&Rs Christine Williams, star of The Bold and the Beautiful, are in attendance and will be seated in the front row. Christine is beaming backstage with Ridge and Eric as Eric inquires about the show's lack of mystery and magic. Will, Electra, and Zende are setting up the jewelry display in the background. With Ridge's and Eric's new haute couture designs on display, Eric anticipates a successful event. However, will Steffy be able to attend? Concerning Taylor, is there something off about Brooke, or is it just that she doesn't want her to take center stage in her underwear? According to other spoilers, when Taylor slams the door of her dressing room, Brooke is shocked and upset. Taylor doesn't like Brooke's suggestion that she get on stage, so she stops her from leaving. It looks like this fashion show will have more than just magic and mystery, it will also have a lot of soapy drama. The emotional storm that was about to break out within the walls of the Cliff House was obscured by the rhythmic lull of the ocean as it crashed against the shore outside the house. Steffy Forrester was enjoying a rare happy moment with Liam Spencer and their daughter Kelly, basking in the warmth. Had allowed the gloom that had been creeping in at the edge of her consciousness to go unnoticed for even a brief moment. Steffy felt a fragile sense of peace as she watched Kelly and her dad spin around in their own little world while Kelly's laughter filled the air. Steffy's world began to spin out of control as her phone buzzed, But peace was a rare luxury. She felt a sudden jolt when the name Finn appeared on her screen. Dr. Her husband, the skilled and steady physician John Finn Finnegan, never sent frantic messages without a reason. Even though Steffy was aware that Finn was a brilliant doctor and that he would exhaust all options before delivering such a definitive prognosis, a part of her mother, the fierce protector of her family, simply could not accept it. The text was chilling because of the weight of his words. She was against it. Denial screamed from her instincts. How could Liam, who was so robust, obstinate, and full of life, be dying? It was incomprehensible. It couldn't make sense. Nevertheless, it did. That was the cruel side of everything. Even though Finn was kind and caring, he was not one to hide the truth when lives were at stake. The scans were accurate. Steffy was aware of this. However, accepting it and knowing it were very different things. Finn arrived home earlier than anticipated, his face etched with grief and determination, as the initial shock gave way to a sickening numbness. It was now impossible to avoid. Steffy was seated by Finn, who confirmed what Dr. Grace Buckingham and Bridget Forrester, both of whom were respected and trusted in their own right, had finished. The condition of Liam was terminal. There was no option. No surgery. Without treatment there is no magical drug cocktail. Only time. A small amount, quietly ticking away as Liam danced with his daughter, blissfully unaware that each step might be his last. Steffy was at a crossroads when she was confronted with this devastating truth. Questions to which she had no answers and uncontrollable fears raced through her mind. But one thing became painfully clear in the chaos: someone had to tell Liam. He ought to know. He was entitled to it. Steffy also decided that person had to be her in some way. She could not allow Finn to break him. She couldn't stand the thought of Liam getting the worst news of his life from someone other than someone who loved him, and Steffy did love Liam despite everything they had been through. Perhaps not in the head-over-heels romantic way she used to, but in the complex, deeply rooted way that parents of children never truly lose, especially when death is so close at hand. She then made her decision. He would be informed by her. Finn was surprised, which is understandable. Ex-wives rarely give terminal diagnoses, so this wasn't standard procedure. However, this was not a typical circumstance, and soap logic had never been restricted by the laws of reality. Recognizing that Steffy needed to do this not only for Liam but also for herself and Kelly, Finn gave Steffy his blessing. Steffy's behavior changed immediately when Liam returned from a brief excursion with Kelly, perhaps to the beach or just to get her favorite juice from the corner store. She had left. Her energy was reduced, her voice was barely audible above a whisper, and her eyes had a red rim. When it came to the people he loved, Liam was sharp, so he didn't waste any time wondering. He inquired. Steffy finally sat him down with her hands tightly around his, struggling to utter the words. She explained with trembling lips that Finn's most recent scans had revealed a mass in his brain that was inoperable, that multiple doctors had confirmed that nothing could be done, and that Finn had found something. Liam seemed to have stopped time. His world simply stopped spinning, not breaking apart. He initially laughed incredulously. He shook his head and said, "That's not possible. I am fine. I've just been worn out, correct? Stress. That sums it up." However, Steffy's silence said a lot. A torrent of feelings, including confusion, rage, and disbelief, erupted as the truth slowly began to seep in. What could have caused this? When things were finally beginning to make sense again, how could he die now? Just as he was deepening his connection with Kelly? Just when he thought he might even be able to come to terms with his past and begin a new chapter with hope? However, Liam, who was always a fighter, was not ready to accept it. His mind reeled, but his heart hardened with determination. He was skeptical that this was the end. A different doctor's opinion, a different hospital, or a secret study or trial had to exist somewhere. He wouldn't pass away. He was unable to. Not with so much unspoken. Not without witnessing Beth lead Kelly down the aisle or cross her first graduation stage. As a result, he made a vow, but not one he whispered into the void but one he forged with a firm determination. He would challenge this. It would be a rebellion against Finn's grim future with every breath and second. Liam stood tall, daring the universe to attempt to bring him down, despite Steffy's weeping and Finn's helpless observation. Hope Logan began to notice that something wasn't right across town in the interim. She had received no messages or calls from Liam. She initially attributed it to tension because their relationship had been strained due to unresolved feelings, complicated dynamics, and his growing connection to Steffy. However, this was different. It felt threatening. Thus, Hope expressed her worries to her father, Deacon Sharp. She even considered submitting a missing person report, as her anxiety grew with each missed call. However, the truth would arrive at her like a freight train before she could make that move, possibly from Steffy, Finn, or even Bridget herself. Hope would insist on seeing Liam, devastated and furious at being left out of the loop. And Steffy would eventually give in, despite her initial resistance out of concern for Liam's remaining peace. Hope was entitled. And Beth was entitled. Whether it was days, weeks, or months, those closest to Liam would require every moment they could get. Time was short. Finn maintained his optimism even after returning to the hospital. Before rescuing Thomas from a near-death state and stabilizing Eric after a cardiac collapse, he had accomplished the impossible. When he needed to be, Finn was a miracle worker, and he wouldn't let Liam go without a fight. He looked over the scans again, talked to colleagues, and even tried to get in touch with his mother, Lee Finnegan, in the hope that her skill as a surgeon would help him see something he hadn't. When Lee realized what was at stake, her initial hostility toward Liam softened. Perhaps she was still harboring resentment from previous Spencer-related drama. She had witnessed loss firsthand, and she wasn't going to let Bill Spencer's son go, especially considering that Bill wouldn't ever be able to forgive himself for the distance between the two of them. Lee began to nudge Bill toward the truth, sowing seeds of concern that he couldn't ignore, even though Liam didn't want his father to know because he feared the emotional cost. Luna Nozawa made a daring move somewhere else, newly empowered and increasingly invested in the Forrester-Spencer dynamic. She began researching experimental treatments, whether out of love, guilt, or a desire to preserve the fragile equilibrium of their interconnected lives. Luna might uncover a whisper of a treatment, a procedure that most people avoid, a trial that is blocked by bureaucracy, something desperate, risky, and unapproved with even the tiniest glimmer of hope, with the tenacity of someone who has witnessed too many people suffer in silence. Could that be the miracle Liam had been looking forward to? Liam was caught in a strange limbo as all of this swirled around him. Still alive, with hopes and dreams, but suddenly out of time. His priorities became more apparent as his world began to shrink. He would not waste his final days moping about. With Kelly, he would make memories. He would talk to Beth about dreams, stargazing, and all the other things she might do that he might never see. He would pardon Hope's departure. He would reconcile with Bill and possibly even ask his father to continue guarding the girls after he died. He would tell Steffy that Finn was a good man who would take care of them despite everything and that she was stronger than she thought. He would resolve any remaining issues. However, he would also continue to fight because miracles are not limited to soaps. Additionally, it's possible that his was not yet written. It's possible that his narrative was shifting rather than concluding. The doctors might have been wrong. Or maybe Liam Spencer wasn't finished after all. By will, love, science, or just luck. Steffy Forrester swayed gently to the beat of a fictitious dance party orchestrated by her daughter, Kelly Spencer, and the ever-dedicated Liam Spencer, allowing herself a rare moment of serenity. The scene was filled with pure, unadulterated joy, the kind that comes when life seems perfect for a brief moment and the family you once loved reunites in a warm cocoon. Kelly's laughter rang out like a melody of hope and innocence as Liam twirled her in his arms with a sparkle in his eyes that disguised a nagging shadow of fatigue. Steffy's heart grew strangely with a strange mix of nostalgia and fear as her eyes lingered on the two of them. However, as the moment's music reached its emotional zenith, her phone abruptly vibrated, a cruel intrusion into a fleeting illusion. The world changed with a single glance at the screen. Her fragile peace was shattered by a text message from Finn, her partner, her compass, and husband. His clinical words carried the weight of 1,000 deaths. He had been trying to reach Liam, the scans had returned, and the grim news was that Liam had an inoperable brain mass. This diagnosis tore away any glimmer of hope and replaced it with stark reality. Steffi's heart rate sped up as she stared at the message, her mind racing with a denial that begged to override logic, and time seemed to slow down. Again, she looked at Liam, but this time she didn't see him as the father of her child or as her former lover. Instead, she saw him as a man who had been marked by fate and whose body held an unseen killer. Every promise that Liam had just made to Kelly, that he would always be there for her, that he would protect her, and that he would never leave her side, had suddenly a tragic irony and a heartbreaking fragility to it.